Over the past few weeks, we've been looking at the Ten Commandments. We began by noting that the Ten Commandments is not some heavy-handed list of rules and thou shalt nots designed to keep us from having fun. Far from that, it is a wonderful gift. The Ten Commandments are a wonderful gift from God, a loving God who wants to give us a life that works. And I additionally noted that being told what we can't do is a much less restrictive thing than being told what we must do. And so there's a grand positive behind every one of these negative commandments. We're going to see that as we get to the third commandment. And these are gifts from God. So we started with the first commandment, and that was a commandment that we need to be sure that God is God. And the second commandment was one that talked about how we were to worship him for who he is, not try to make him into something else or even capture what he is in some idol. So we now look at the third commandment. Like the first two, and like commandments 6 through 10 that will follow, this is stated negatively. But again, there's a grand positive behind it, and being told that you can't do something means you can do everything else, right? So it's really, these have a bad rap. The third commandment is found in Exodus chapter 20, verse 7. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Two important words here, name and misuse. The most common pedestrian understanding of this commandment is that you should not swear. In particular, you should not be asking God to damn this or typing OMG on a Twitter feed or something like that. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, kind of, sort of, but not really. Using God's name as a swear word is a bad idea. Let me be very clear about that. And there are good biblical reasons for not using coarse language. James warns us that the tongue is a small thing, but it can burn everything down. Jesus implies that we are accountable for every word that we say. If you read through the Bible, it becomes clear that God takes our words more seriously often than we do. And so we should be slow to speak, and we should be very slow to use coarse language. There are good reasons not to swear. I'm not so sure that the third commandment is one of them. It's just so much bigger than that. So let's take these two words one at a time. Today, the word name. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. So we know that names are important. I mean, we talk about, you know, so-and-so's a name dropper, and there are laws against slander. There are laws against forging someone's name. This word gets used in a variety of different ways. And we see in the Bible that names have almost a defining power, or at the very least, they're descriptive. The name Adam means human being. The name Eve means life-giving. Abraham means father of multitudes. Ruth means companion of friends. Companion or friends, excuse me. In biblical times, names often told you about a person, which is why if somebody's character changed in a profound way, God often changed their name. Or if he was going to do something significant in their life, he often changed their name. So Abram becomes Abraham, Jacob becomes Israel, Simon becomes Peter, right? We have all these instances. So on top of that, we have all the drama. We just have been through this. If you attend Christ Church, in our Exodus series, when we're in Exodus chapter 3, we have all the drama around the name of God. So Moses is being called by God, burning bush, all of that, and Moses says to God, when I go back and talk to the people and I tell them that, you know, you sent me, they're going to ask, what is his name? Who is this God? And I said that the question here is not what do we call God? The question is, what is he like? Who is this God? And noted that God, who, by the way, names himself, It's a very important thing because naming something has power. God gives the power to name to people and to name animals. So we notice that in Exodus chapter 3, God names himself and he says, you are to tell them, I am sent you, right? I will be who I will be. Yahweh, it's the tetragrammaton, these sort of untranslatable, big, bold declaration of being self-referential and self-existent and all of that. And so to date, for the most part, up until this point in the Bible, what we have, and by the way, the Jews don't translate Yahweh in the Bible. They sort of just put the word Lord in there as a placeholder because that name is so sacred, and they do not want to in any way diminish the name of God. They would point to the third commandment for this. But up until this point, what we have in the Bible are a lot of titles for God. El is the base Hebrew word for God, and so Elohim, because God is plural, so it always exists in that context. El Elyon, El Shaddai. And so all that to just say, the word name, so we're looking at the third commandment, two big words, name and misuse. Name is a much bigger concept than just the vocal sounds you hear when you call somebody by what they are referred to. Have a good day.